Hey, so welcome back to the Vet S.O.S. Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight. Remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the Vet S.O.S. Hot Lifeline. The Veteran Entrepreneur Spotlight is proud to be affiliated with Neil Haley Show and sponsored by Spirit Point Solutions. Spirit Point Solutions is a one-stop shop for leading-edge products, services, and training from multiple vendors, from AI training to corporate gifts and much, much more. They have everything you need to help your organization thrive in the modern economy. So check out all the valuable offerings at spiritpointonline.com. I'll say that again, spiritpointonline.com. And remember to use our code VETSOS on anything that you purchase there. That will help us continue to do this awesome mission we're doing right now of improving lives of those who have served. So today we have a very, very special guest. We have the pleasure of sitting down with Miss Renea Jones-Hudson, a veteran U.S. Army captain, empowerment coach, international speaker, best-selling author, and founder of Beyond the Uniform. So that's a leadership and transition consultancy dedicated to helping female veterans and transitioning military women reclaim their identity, own their own stories, and thrive beyond the service. She has over 21 years of distinguished service, where she had 13 years enlisted, 8.5 as a commissioned officer. She understands the complexities of military transition, especially identi- especially the identity shifts and challenges unique to women veterans. Her signature "Own It" framework empowers women to transform uncertainty from purpose-driven leadership in corporate career, entrepreneurship, or personal growth. She is currently pursuing her doctorate degree, that's what I'm talking about, of psychology in health and wellness with a research focus on intersection of identity reconstruction, trauma, stigma, and financial instability impacting female veterans overall and their well-being. So we have the pleasure of speaking to Miss Renea Jones. How you doing, Renee, Miss Renee?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's hop right into the interview. So you have we have very similar careers. I mean, you were probably enlisted as I was,
Okay.
then eventually got commissioned. So I want to kind of go back for a little bit. So looking back on your transition, what would you say were the three biggest lessons you learned in transition from that military life to what we now call civilian life? What were those lessons in? And then not only that, what were those lessons? How did they shape you today?
Okay. That transition, I realized it wasn't just about finding a new job. And,
Mm,
that took me some time too.
okay.
Because, we're so used to like going from the military and going back into the federal government, just hopping into something else.
Mhm.
I did have an interview after I retired, and I had to wait 2 weeks for them to respond to me. Well, in the 2 weeks, I decided I just didn't want to I didn't want to do it like that anymore. So, I wanted to just figure out what I wanted to do and find myself because I didn't have a plan when I got out. I retired. I was like, oh, I can do something else. I'm gonna do that.
Gotcha.
So I had to kind of dig deep and rediscover who I was outside the uniform. And that process is what led me to redefine what success and happiness looked like for me personally and not just what was expected, right?
Mhm.
And ultimately, I had to figure out how to reintegrate all those lessons into this new life, building a sense of belonging and purpose in the civilian world. Um, and each step shaped me into someone who's passionate about helping other women veterans navigate these changes. You just discover so many things about yourself, and that's kind of where my purpose led to, just trying to help other people because I didn't want them to feel how I felt.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So now take me back to this moment in your life where it sparked that entrepreneurship inside of you. Like, what was going on at that time that made you decide that you want to build your own thing as an entrepreneur instead of, like you said, going the safer route, was taking that corporate job or taking that
Yeah.
government job. What was that like?
So when I got out of the military, like I said, I didn't have a plan. And it was when I had to wait for the response from the interview that I had, which
Hmm.
I did get the job. I literally made the decision on the spot that I told the individual that called me, I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to start my own business. I didn't have a plan. It just came out and I went with it. So it was just something in me. And I think that was what kind of led me to wanting to retire too. I
Uh-huh.
just was like, you know what? I've done all that I want to do in this chapter. I made it to captain. I'm good. I want to see what else was out there. It was
Mhm.
like that. So, and it kind of really, really grew when I realized that there were other women struggling with some of the same things I was struggling with, feeling lost, misunderstood, and really unsure how to move forward. So that kind of propelled me to kind of move forward with what I had inside of me. I saw an opportunity to create something that would help women, and I just took it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I guess you found that purpose and you kind of just ran.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So now that you're in the thick of being an entrepreneur, you know that being an entrepreneur is very different than being in corporate America. What would you
Yes.
say is the most important part of your being an entrepreneur? And then also add to that, what lights you up every day you wake up?
So the most important part about being an entrepreneur is just, like you said, it's not a structure, like it's not structure that we have. It really forces you to lead yourself, because you got to
Mhm.
get up, you got to motivate yourself to get up and serve, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's that grit that you revisit all the things that the military was made easy for you, because
Mhm.
we had a blueprint. But on
Yes.
the outside, we don't have one. So that's the real
Uh-huh.
test, in my opinion. That's the real test. Am I going to get up and do more? Right? I could easily stay home and do nothing. I can, and it's no knock to anybody. That's the path they chose. No knock. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, but you know, I wanted to do more. I had more in me. So what excites me the most is just watching people rediscover. I started out as a personal trainer,
Mhm.
and one of the things I loved was when it finally clicked for the clients that, like, oh, I can do this. I can, when they lose the weight, they're like, oh my God, when everything clicks. So it's kind of the same thing, but in a coaching, especially us veterans, we rediscover so many strengths that was pushed back in the service. I love when they can redefine what's possible for their lives and reintegrate into the community differently, because, we always had our battle buddies, but now we have to go and seek our community. We have to go find that sisterhood. We have to go and
Mhm.
create it in some cases.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, now, and then we also understand that being an entrepreneur is not just all about the glitz and the glamour of social media and certain things you see. So now, tell me about the hard parts or the more frustrating parts about being an entrepreneur on your journey, and then how do you deal with that?
for me, the most frustrating part, like when we came out of the military, like I said, everything's structured for us. And for me, it was just thinking that I didn't know what to do, right?
Mhm.
And then on top of that, there's so many barriers and stereotypes that we face as veterans. So it's just because there were days when I felt like progress was slow, or the challenges was so much, too much. And it's
Mhm.
in those times that I remind myself, like, to just go back to the basics, reconnect with my purpose, rediscover my own strength, my own resilience, and lean into the community that I re-engage with, the ones that I've created. And that's what kind of keeps me moving forward.
Got you. So now you transitioned after you retired. Did you plug into any type of programs, veteran resources, mentors in the communities to help you launch your business, and then any of them that you would recommend?
Not initially,
Okay.
because I wasn't really aware of them. Les Brown has this saying, he said, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
wasn't I wasn't aware of all the veterans resources that was out there. I was aware of one because my client and introduced me to the Women's Veterans Interactive Foundation, and that was in 2016, I think it was. But I didn't use them. I didn't use them properly. But so initially I was doing like BNI groups. My clients were well established in the community, so they would recommend places or networking groups that I should go to. So I started with BNI,
Hmm.
and then I started inserting myself into the chambers of commerces, and then I started getting, meeting other veterans, and that's when the connection grew. Where I'm now plugged into different veteran spaces.
Got you. Got you. So now tell us about your business beyond the uniform. What is it exactly? Who do you serve? And kind of give us a rundown of the what makes your business different than a lot of other military resources out there.
So with Beyond the Uniform, I help female veterans rediscover, redefine, and reintegrate into this next phase. And
Uh-huh.
I do that through my OWNIT framework, which is all about helping women take charge of their stories and their futures. We offer coaching, different workshops, group coaching, and just a supportive community, which is just designed specifically for female veterans. What sets us apart is that it's we kind of weave in principles of rediscovering who you are, redefining your goals, and reintegrating with purpose, like giving you a plan, right? That blueprint that we talk about, that
Yeah.
blueprint that we had in the service, kind
Yeah.
of help them create that so that they can move forward. And why it's so unique is it's because it's done by women, a woman veteran, and it's for women veterans. And we truly understand the journey. And I'm just really committed to helping her tell her story and to lift up her voice.
Got you. So would it matter which route they want to take? Whether they want to be an corporate business person or entrepreneur? Does it matter?
No, it
Okay.
doesn't matter, I will say this, it doesn't matter, but I really want to encourage us, especially just veterans in general. I think we're so stuck on the rank, the mission, the jobs that we had in the service that we
Yeah.
don't really explore so many of the gifts that we did acquire from the military,
Yeah.
like public speaking, like just whatever that is, do something outside of what or I won't say that. I'll say explore other things outside of what you think because you know a lot more. We're just not
Absolutely.
tapping into it.
Absolutely. So for those who want to connect with you and want to be part of what you're doing, what how can we find you and where do we go to connect with you?
So you can, my website is reneajones-hudson.com. It's
Uh,
Renea Jones-Hudson.com, all one word.
okay.
On all social media, I am Renea Jones-Hudson. It's Renea Jones at Renea Jones-Hudson. And I'm also hosting a free masterclass on July 1st. And the link is in my bio on all my social media platforms, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and YouTube.
Absolutely. And we'll get that link from you and we'll drop it down in our
Okay.
section for this podcast. So get connected with Renee. Got a lot of great service for women veterans. Reach out to her if you need any of her services. Anything else that you want to put out before we go?
No, just thank you for having me. I appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely. So we want to thank Miss Renee Jones-Hudson for joining us on the Vet SOS today. On behalf of the Vet SOS family, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us as well. You can find Vet SOS podcast on all your favorite platforms, YouTube, on all social media platforms as well. Make sure to subscribe and follow Vet SOS so you don't miss anything. And remember, as I said before, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the Vet SOS lifeline. I want to
Yeah.
thank you again, Miss Renee. Really appreciate you coming on.